Hello future investors and welcome back to another weekly episode. Now in this current time of turmoil regarding the banking situation around the world, I wanted to go and speak to my bank in person and see what they had to say about the current situation. Now, for reasons that I don't want to get sued and for copyrights and infringements, all of that, I'm not going to mention which bank I'm with. However, it's a very, very big bank that is all around Europe. Now, as we know, the current banking crisis is in a really bad time right now. One of the world's largest banks, Credit Suisse, collapsed in recent days and it had to be bought out by another Switzerland bank, UBS. Now, both are giant Swiss banks, but their investment banking arms operate all over the world. Swiss banking has the ultimate reputation for financial stability, so the slide into uncertainty for Credit Suisse and the shotgun marriage to UBS have left Swiss rather dazed. And of course, that's now affected the world, because when you're looking at a country extremely wealthy, one of the world's leading countries in regards to GDP, Switzerland, how can a bank like that fail? It does make you question it, doesn't it? Now, are we just talking about Switzerland? No, we're not. 2 US banks have already gone under this month. Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, both catering largely to the tech sector, while those are the biggest bank failures since the US failure in recession in 2008. However, neither of those banks that have just failed were anywhere near the size of Credit Suisse. So, being in the UK, is this situation on the other side of the world going to affect the UK banks? Well, the Bank of England has admitted it has been watching closely as Credit Suisse's fate was determined in a marathon meeting over the weekend, but they said there was no reason to worry about a knock-on effect on UK banks. The UK banking system has said that they are well capitalised and funded and remain safe and sound. Now, of course, they're going to say that, aren't they? They're not going to say, we're really concerned right now, we're actually shitting ourselves, that it's going to affect the British bank, the Bank of England. Because if they say that, then what do you think is going to happen? People are going to withdraw their money, the stocks and share prices are going to plummet. So, of course, they cannot say like that they're worried. But they have mentioned that they are monitoring the situation in Switzerland and the United States. Now, for me personally, just them saying that they've monitored the situation, I do find that slightly concerning, because they've actually admitted to the fact that they are monitoring it. Now, England, luckily, is an extremely wealthy country with huge gold reserves, not as much as countries like America or China, but we're a much smaller country. So considering the size of our land mass and our population, we're actually a very extremely wealthy country. So I don't think it's something that the United Kingdom particularly needs to worry about. However, I do believe it's going to affect the price of the pound and the rate of inflation, which is already not in a great state here in the United Kingdom. So yes, I don't think you need to worry about the Bank of England having issues, but that's not to say other banks which are operating in England could fail. So does that mean you should take your money out of your bank account? No, not necessarily, but I think you should look into the bank you are with, do some brief research and find out how stable are they, what vibes are they giving that their current situation is at. Are they concerned, or are they claiming to be absolutely stable with no concerns at all? Now, having said this, I today wanted to find out for myself. So I decided to pop to my local town centre, where I went into my bank, which I'm not going to mention, like I said, because it's a private matter. I don't want to tell people what bank I'm with, and also I don't want to get in trouble for speaking maybe badly or goodly about a certain bank. So anyway, I popped into my bank and I made out that I was just going to withdraw some money anyway. So basically my goal was to speak to like a branch manager or even just a cashier. I wanted to get a vibe of what their feelings were, because obviously when you work at a company, you know the in-depth rumours that are going on because you're associated in the bubble of where you work. So I was expecting the cashiers or the branch managers to give me a sort of feeling, even if they were going to be coy about it, but I was trying to read their vibe of how they were giving me information. So I went to the cashier and basically I asked to withdraw some money. It wasn't much at all. But yeah, that was my ploy to start a conversation. And essentially what I said was I got very lucky and the cashier was extremely chatty anyway. So I thought this is a good opportunity to fire away the question. So I literally said, obviously you've seen the current situation with the banks around the world. Is this something I need to be worried about with our bank here? And, do you know much more about it? And they were actually very open. I was quite surprised. I thought they might be a little bit coy and a little bit like hush hush, but yeah, they were quite open. There was customers behind, so I had to keep it. They had to keep it brief, but they explained that the bank I'm with is completely secure. There's nothing to worry about. That they've got a really good, fundamental sort of securement, that they're safe, they're well funded, and there's nothing to worry about. Now, I know what you're thinking. Of course they're going to say that because they don't want you to pull your money out and have a knock-on effect and scare people. I do understand that, but I have to say, from speaking to this person, I got the vibe that they were actually genuinely being honest, because they were just a cashier at the end of the day. They weren't a branch manager. They're just, to be fair, a cashier who probably isn't paid that much. So I don't see why they would try and purposely not be that honest. And I like to believe that I'm quite a good judge of character with people. I've worked with a lot of people in my time and I've had different roles. So I feel like I'm fairly experienced with being a good judge of character. And I would have to say that I felt they were being honest. And when I got home, I did some research on my bank, and basically what I was reading up was, there's no concern regarding my bank that there's any issues to be, worried about, that they're going to collapse or anything like that. So, I'd have to say I was pleased with my response that I got from actually going in and speaking to the bank. However, who knows what can happen? Nobody would have thought a bank like Credit Suisse would have failed, or Silicon Valley would have failed in the United States. It's pretty unheard of, isn't it, that a bank of that substantial size can fail. But who knows? This is why we invest in gold and silver, isn't it? Because we protect our wealth against inflation, against the rising prices of, how the pound or the dollar or the euro is being weaker and weaker with its buying power. But when it comes to global crisis like this with the financial markets, it's an even better time to consider buying precious metals, because as we know, people run to precious metals like gold and silver to hedge against that inflation and hedge against that economic crisis, because they get concerned. And people do think that gold is a saviour, because, to be honest with you, it is. I'm no financial advisor, but when you look at the price of gold over the last 20 years, it's increased over 630%. Well, silver has not increased anywhere near that much, but it is still an increasing asset. It's a lot more volatile than gold, but it's a very popular asset nonetheless. And as we know, silver is used in all sorts of commodities and industrial uses, with everything being pushed electric, such as electric cars, solar panels, and all that sort of stuff. The usage of silver is becoming extremely high, which therefore is increasing the demand, which is therefore increasing the price. And as we know, silver is not a non-renewable resource. It comes out of the mines in the ground, and there has been some rumours that the mines are being depleted very, very fast. Now, I've done a few videos on that before, which actually did quite well. So, I think now's a great time to stick your assets and your wealth into precious metals, so you can hedge against that inflation and protect yourself in case there is any economic turmoil still to come. But do your own research in regards to your banks. Maybe you already have and you know that you don't need to worry, or maybe you haven't. So I think it's just a good time to do that with everything going on in the market. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. This is my little situation of how I did my digging into my own bank. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comment sections below. And until next time, I'll see you in the very next episode. Bye bye, guys. To watch another episode on future investments, click the link now.